Hey Star Trek fans, big week in the Star Trek universe as we have a new teaser trailer for the upcoming Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, plus the second wave of Nacelle Company's new Star Trek figures have been revealed, as well as some long-awaited news for international buyers. Let's get into this week's news.
You're the captain of the most important space station in the entire Federation. You're news.
April 2nd saw the release of the first teaser trailer for Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This teaser focused on the genre-bending episodes of the third season, giving us a glimpse of everything from an apparent holodeck-based murder mystery to what appears to be a spoof of 50s and 60s science fiction. Throughout the teaser, we also see some other hints about the season, including some romance between Spock and Christine Chapel, the Enterprise being wired with a 20th century telephone system, thanks to someone who lived through the 20th century, Chief Engineer Pelia, played by Carol Kane, and what appears to be a threat from the Klingons, including a Discovery-style Klingon fighter craft. We also see the character played by New Zealand actor Rhys Darby, and he would appear to be dressed somewhat similarly to the Q-like being Trelane from the classic Star Trek episode The Squire of Gothos. Another surprise is the appearance of Patton Oswalt as a Vulcan. Oswald was previously featured in Star Trek Picard's second season, but only in voice form. Also seen in the teaser is a three-armed Edosian, a species seen previously only in animated Star Trek. Arex from Star Trek the Animated Series is from this species, as were a couple of characters featured in Lower Decks. Also, this scene would seem to indicate that the episode is set in 2261, as the wall behind the Edosian shows that the celebration is for the Federation Centennial. The Federation was formed 100 years earlier in 2161. No definitive word yet on a release date for Season 3 of Strange New Worlds, although rumors would seem to indicate the end of July / the beginning of August. As soon as we know the exact date, we'll be sure to let you know. The Nacelle Company has released details on their second wave of action figures, set to be released later this year. At WonderCon, the toy manufacturer revealed the entire 10-figure lineup for Wave 2, adding to the 8-figure first wave revealed in February. And like that first wave, this wave features a number of unexpected and, shall we say, non-traditional characters. The first one actually kind of breaks this mold. We have Captain James T. Kirk as seen in Star Trek Generations as figure number 9 in the line, featuring his distinctive vest from that film. Number 10 is Captain Catherine Janeway, as seen in the Voyager episode Year of Hell, sporting her tank top. Number 11 is Worf in his naval uniform from Star Trek Generations. T'Pol from Season 3 of Star Trek Enterprise in her blue jumpsuit is figure number 12. Number 13 is Geordi LaForge, also in a naval uniform from Generations. For number 14, we travel to the undiscovered country for Valeris, the Vulcan Starfleet trader from that film. Number 15 is one I'm particularly excited about, the unnamed Romulan commander played by Mark Leonard from the TOS episode Balance of Terror. Number 16 is Dr. Carol Marcus, as seen in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Number 17 is one that I've been waiting a long time for personally, Ensign Nog from the Deep Space Nine episode Favor the Bold. And finally, number 18 is from Star Trek the Animated Series, the character Ari Bin Bem, from the episode Bem. I'm pretty sure he's the first action figure from Star Trek the Animated Series. Accessories have yet to be revealed for 9 of these figures, but Nacelle showed off some accessories for Captain Kirk, and they are very impressive, even including the horse that he rides during his time in the Nexus. I'm excited to learn more about these figures, and we will of course bring you more news about them as soon as we learn it. Speaking of the Nacelle Company, they have finally made their Star Trek action figures available for international buyers. On April 2nd, the company announced that fans in Canada, the UK, Germany, and Australia are now able to pre-order Wave 1 of the 1/12 scale action figure line. This includes all 8 figures in the lineup: Captain Jellicoe, Valkyris, Captain Rachel Garrett, Peter Preston, Mirror Archer, Tuvix, Weyoun, and Captain Sulu. If you live in one of these territories and wish to pre-order Nacelle's action figures, follow the link in the description to their website.
Sometimes I think you North Americans read nothing but comic books and those ridiculous science fiction novels.
Just one Star Trek comic out last week from IDW, but it's a big one. Kicking off the Lore War crossover event, Wednesday, April 2nd saw the release of Lore War number 1 by writers Christopher Cantwell, Jackson Lanzing, and Collin Kelly, with art by Davide Tinto. Here's the official synopsis. The start of an all-new crossover event between Star Trek and Defiant is here. From the Eisner-nominated writers of Star Trek, Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly, the critically acclaimed writer of Star Trek Defiant, Christopher Cantwell, and artist Davide Tinto from Star Wars Bounty Hunters and Devil's Reign, Lore War number 1 shows us a universe rebuilt in Lore's image. The crews of the Theseus and the Defiant scattered across the universe with no memory of who they once were. Some even worship Lore as their god. Lore has won. His rule is absolute. But the Cisco remains, and there are forces who wish to remind him of his power. As always, I have links in the video description to purchase the digital edition of Lore War number 1 from Amazon. Brandy, Jackal, and I recently got together on the Positively Trek podcast to talk about Lore War number 1. Link to that episode is in the description. And that's it for another week in Star Trek. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you know of anyone who enjoys weekly Star Trek updates, share this video with them. Hit that like button and subscribe to Kertrats Productions if you haven't already to keep up to date with all the happenings in the Star Trek universe, especially as we get closer to the release of Strange New Worlds Season 3. I hope you all have a great week. Be kind to others, be kind to yourself, and most importantly, as always, live long and prosper.